Hello children, welcome to the YouTube channel of Velkin National School, Vasai East. This is Mrs. Mamata Biju, your subject teacher of SST. Today I will be teaching for standard 7th Civics chapter number 6, that is Directive Principle of State Policy and Fundamental Duties. In the last two chapters, we have studied the fundamental rights guaranteed by our Constitution. We learned what rights Indian citizens enjoy. We also learned that our rights have judicial protection. We understood the importance of fundamental rights in our individual and public lives. With this background, we shall now understand what the directive principles of state policy are. Fundamental rights put in restrictions on the power of the government. A few such restrictions upon the states are listed below. State shall not discriminate between and among citizens on the basis of caste, religious, race, language and sex. Then state shall not deny anybody equality before the law and equal protection of the law. No person shall be deprived of his life. State shall not impose any religious taxes. The Constitution has given express instructions to the state about what policies it should undertake. This is in the nature of giving directives or guidelines about how to achieve the goals expressed in the preamble. Hence, they are called as directive principles of state policy. Now, over here in this paragraph, they have explained that the fundamental rights are guaranteed by our Constitution. So, we have also learned what rights our Indian citizen enjoy. So, it has a judicial protection. So, in this chapter, we will understand the directive principles of state policy. Now, there are few restrictions on the power of the government. The first is that the state cannot discriminate among citizens on the basis of any caste, religion, race, language. Then state cannot also deny anybody's equality. Then no person shall be deprived in his life. So, the state cannot impose any religious taxes also. They cannot impose as per the religion taxes. So, the Constitution express the instructions to the state about the policies to undertake, which gives directive guidelines that how to achieve the goals and express in the preamble. Why were the directive included? When India won independence, we faced a great challenge of establishing order and carrying out smooth administration. Eradication of poverty, backwardness and illiteracy had to be urgently pursued. The task of nation building had to be undertaken. For this, new policies had to be drawn up and their implementation had to be undertaken. The goal of people's welfare had to be achieved. In short, India had to be transformed into a developed and progressive nation. The Constitution has specified the subjects to which the Union and the state government should give priority in their policies for people's welfare. Through the directive principles of state policy, each directive contains a subject for the state policy. The makers of Indian Constitution had realized that it would require a lot of resources if all these policies were to be implemented at the same time. So, that is the reason why they did not make the directive binding upon the state like the fundamental rights. They expected that states should implement them slowly and steadily. Now, over here in this paragraph, they have explained that when India got independence and it had to face great challenge to establish a smooth administration, eradication of poverty, then backwardness and illiteracy that has to be urgently pursued. Now, for the nation building, a new policies had to be taken up and to implement also. So the people goal had to achieve and the India had to be developed and progressive nation. So the constitution has to see the union and the state government had to give the priority in their policies for the people welfare. Now some important directive principles of the state policy. The state should secure adequate means of livelihood to all citizens without any gender discrimination. The state should secure equal pay for equal work for both men and women. The state shall secure the improvement of public health. The state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. The state shall protect all monuments of the historic interest and national importance. The state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker sections of the people, especially the scheduled caste and tribes. Now over here in this paragraph they have explained that there are some important and some role is been given from the directive principles of the state policy. Now the first point is saying that state cannot discriminate or it cannot make any differences between the gender in the means of livelihood to any of the citizen. Then state should give an equal pay to both men and women. Wherever they work, the state has to give equal pay to both men and women. There should not be discrimination between men and women. Then the state should secure they should have do some improvement related to the public health. Then the state should protect and improve the environment related to the safety of the forest, wildlife and of the country. Then wherever the monuments is been seen in the state, it should be maintained of that historic monuments. Then the state should also promote, they should also give some care to the educational and economic and to the weaker sections of the people, especially for those who are scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. The state shall offer public assistance to citizens in case of unemployment, old age, sickness, etc. The state shall secure a uniform civil code applicable to the entire country. Now over here they are saying that state should give some public assistance to that citizen in case there is no job or that person is very old or that person is very sick. And the state should also secure an uniform civil code which is should be applicable for the entire country. Directive principles of state policy and fundamental rights are the two sides of the same coin. Due to the fundamental rights, citizens get the most needed liberty, while directive principle of the state policy create an atmosphere conducive to the growth of democracy. Even though we cannot go to the court if a directive is not implemented by the government, we can put pressure on the government in various ways to make a policy in order to meet these goals. Now over here in this paragraph they have explained that directive principle of state policy and the fundamental right, this both are of the same coin, it is the sides of the same coin. So as due to the fundamental rights that every citizen should they get the liberty, and because of the directive principle of the state policy they create such a good conducive atmosphere for the growth of democracy. Even though if we cannot go to the court, we can, the directives cannot implement by the government, and we can, so that we can put pressure on the government in many other ways to make a policy in order to meet these goals. Now let's read about the fundamental rights. Fundamental duties. In a democracy, citizens have a dual responsibility. They should not only be vigilant that their rights are not unfairly restricted, but should also fulfill some duties and responsibility. The Constitution has made several provisions through the fundamental rights and the directive principles of state policy for the people's welfare. The benefits of the various schemes of the government cannot reach all people if they do not fulfill their fundamental duties. For example, the government has implemented several projects under its Swachh Bharat scheme, but people too need to change their habit that makes public places dirty. In order that the Indian citizen become conscious of their responsibilities, fundamental duties were included in the Constitution. The fundamental duties of the Indian citizen are as follows. Now, over here in this paragraph, they have explained that as per the democracy, the citizen have a dual responsibility, means two responsibility, that they should not be vigilant and their rights are not unfairly restricted. Now, to fulfill such duties and responsibility, the constitution has made some provision. It has made some ways through the fundamental rights and the directive principles of the state policy for the people's welfare. Now what are all those the benefits of the way there are they have introduced uh, for the people's welfare benefit, that various schemes of the government should reach to the people and they can fulfill their fundamental rights. If I take an example, that government has implemented several projects. Now if I take one project, that is Swachh Bharat scheme. Now Swachh Bharat scheme means what everywhere should be neat and clean. If people follow that, then only there will be Swachh Bharat. This scheme will be up to date. Now if the people are not changing their habits, then they make public places dirty. So in order that the Indian citizen become conscious about their responsibility, there are some fundamental duties included in the constitution. So let's read that fundamental duties of the Indian constitution. To abide by the constitution and respect the national flag and national anthem, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom, to uphold the protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, to defend the country and to render national services when called upon to do so, to promote harmony and spirit of the common brotherhood transcending diversities, to renounce practice derogatory to the dignity of women, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, to protect and improve the natural environment, and to have compassion for living creature. Now over here what they are saying, that whenever there is a constitution, we should respect that. We should respect our national flag and national anthem. Then we should cherish our noble ideals which are inspired our national struggle for the freedom. Then we have to keep unity. Then we have to uphold and protect the sovereignty. Then whenever we have to defend the country, we should render national services whenever we are being called. Then we should promote some harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood. Then we should value and preserve the rich heritage and the composite culture. Now these are the pictures they have given. A boy scribbling on a historical structure, which is wrong. We should not do that, because this is the historical structure. It signifies something. Then damaging a public bus, which is not good. Then this is the hanging lemon chilies. Some people in olden days, they believe that if you put this hanging lemon, then there will not be any problems or disputes or any fights in that family. Then this is a woman emptying a garbage can on the street. This should not be done. Okay, so this is the wrong. So these are some problems is been done by the people. So we should abide whatever, we should not do, we should not dispute for it. To develop the scientific temper, humanism, and spirit of inquiry and reform, to safeguard public property and to abjure violence, to strive towards excellence in all sphere of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. Every citizen of India who is a parent or guardian should provide opportunities of education to his or her child or ward between the ages of 6 and 14 years. Now over here they have said that to develop the scientific temper, then humanism, then spirit of inquiry should be done. We should always save our public property. Then every citizen of India who is the parent or any of the guardian should provide opportunity for the education to his or her child between the age of 6 and 14 years. At the beginning of the civics section, we got introduced to the goals and characteristics features of the Indian Constitution. We also considered the rights of the Indian citizen and the legal protection guaranteed to these rights by the Constitution. We understood the directive principle of the state policy and the fundamental duties of Indian citizen. Next year we shall study the administration of our country. Now over here in this paragraph they have explained that at the beginning of civics session there was an introduction to the goals and the characteristics features of the Indian Constitution. We should always consider the rights of the Indian Constitution and the legal protection which is guaranteed by the rights of the Constitution. So later we will study in the next year about the directive principle of the state policy and the fundamental duties of the Indian citizen. So students, we have completed this chapter. Hope you all have understood this chapter. Bye students, take care and have a nice day.